Welcome to Season 1 of the Lumber Ghost Mysteries. We are an actual play podcast, and that means that we're going to play the tabletop role-playing game Kids on Bikes. Then we'll shine it up a little bit with some fancy editing. And you would think that because everyone on this show is a musician, that we would have the perfect sound quality thing figured out from the beginning. You would think that, wouldn't you? I thought that. When putting this episode 0, together, I realized there were two things that we all had talked about ahead of time that we didn't explicitly go over during the recording. So first, the players were all given a warning that their kids were going to be starting a band, so they knew that going in. And second, our story is set in the real-world town of Oak Bluffs on the island of Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. And while we are keeping many geographic details true to life, the players did have a lot of control over adjusting the town. So for more information, check out actualstorypodcasting.com, and I think that's it. All right, kids, here we go. My name is Jonah, and I am your game master. Hey, Mary, who are you?
I am Kelly.
Kirsten, who are you?
I'm Phaedra, and I guess I get to be keyboard.
Jason, who are you?
I am Chance, chronic underachieving bassist.
Mikey, who are you?
I am CJ, and I'm not sure what I am in the band yet. I'm probably whatever needs done at last, because I didn't jump in early to say, hey, I want this.
And Mars, who are you?
Hi there, I'm Mars, and I'm also Cliff Doherty, who is the guitar player, or attempting to be. He would love a partner in crime so that we can play Judas Priest songs, so maybe Michael will hook that up as our second guitar player.
Oh, yeah. We could do some Iron Maiden stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
So this is our episode 0. Episode 0, the character creation, world building section of Kids on Bikes is pretty fun. Though I think we're going to do something a little bit different today. A lot of the time, when you're starting a new role-playing game on your tabletop, your character creation session tends to be a lot of, well, just sort of thinking about it and talking about it and waiting for it to be done before the story actually begins. I'm going to try to combine a little bit of moving around and a little bit of story along with our character creation and world building. So this will be something a little bit different for us all. It'll be fun, I think. So we're just going to start with this. It's Monday. It is the day, the final week before spring break. School starts, the doors open at 7 a.m. Homeroom begins at 8:20. Who wakes up first to go to school?
Oh, I do.
Why?
Because I have a paper route. I have multiple jobs. I do odd jobs all the time. So because my template is young provider, and so I'm up to get stuff done.
So you wake up at what time?
Probably 5:30.
You wake up, you hit your alarm clock, I assume?
Sure.
What does your room look like?
It's got wood paneled walls, and they're covered with lots of posters, stuff from Metal Edge, but also there's some Circus and Cream, and a lot of stuff that's just, it's a total mismatch because everything from pop to dance music, R&B, and lots of metal all over the place. But it's weirdly clean for a kid's room. I mean, it's pretty, other than the stuff scattering the walls, it's kind of Spartan, except for stuff that has to do with work. And of course, my amplifier and guitar, because now I'm a guitar player.
So this morning, you're taking an extra second as you walk past your mirror and you actually stop and take a good look at yourself. What do people see when they see you today?
I have about collar length brown hair. I have to keep it short enough to be 80s respectable for a job because they cared about things like that back then. And I don't really need to shave yet, so it's not like I'm unshaven. I've got, teenager skin. It's not particularly bad. It's not particularly good. I'm kind of a plain looking kid. And I'm just, my clothes are all remarkably similar and the same, mostly button-up short sleeve shirts and jeans and high-top sneakers.
So what do you do? What would people say when you think of your own race and ethnicity and gender and sexuality? What goes through your mind when you look in a mirror about yourself?
Oh, about CJ?
Yeah.
He's straight, white, lower middle class teen, maybe upper lower class. I picked the trope young provider. Yeah.
So then let me ask you this. How has working to support your family improved you as a person?
I feel responsible for everybody and protective of everybody. I'm the dad of whatever group I'm in. I'm kind of, that's the default role he takes, is group dad. He's the responsible one because it's his default position. He's just kind of assumed it. He lives alone. Clarence lives alone. You don't know his name is Clarence. His name is CJ. He lives alone with his younger sister Julie, who's like 7. He's 13. She's 7, and they live with his grandmother. So, and his grandma's on Social Security, and that barely covers. She owns the house outright, but the property taxes are insane in this area, and the cost of living is high. And even though they're on social assistance, it's never quite enough. So that's why he works. I mean, technically they could get by without him working, but to make life livable, he works.
What strengths do you have?
Wow. I haven't really thought about this in game terms. So I'm not going to think about it in game terms. He is a very, like I said, responsible, determined, protective kid. He's got his head on straight. He's very pragmatic and pretty realistic. He's not prone to flights of fancy. He's seen a lot of weird stuff, because it's not really weird stuff, but enough weirdness. His parents disappeared 7 years ago. Just after his little sister was born, his parents disappeared, and they can't be declared legally dead, but nobody's heard anything from him, so grandma's the legal guardian now. So he's had this, she wants him to be a kid, but he feels like, the responsibilities being not necessarily thrust upon him. He looks at it kind of as an opportunity to step up, even though he kind of abdicates a little bit of his childhood by doing it.
So that sounds like, thinking of it for a second in game terms, maybe protective, if you're going to pick two of these. Protective, tough, unassuming, treasure hunter, easygoing, or are you particularly skilled at a specific thing?
I don't think he's particularly skilled at a... let's go with unassuming and protective.
Sounds good. Are there specific flaws that you see in yourself as you look in the mirror?
I mean, I guess he kind of pities himself a little bit. He's all poor, pitiful me about You know, it's like my parents have disappeared and now I take out, you know, in a way he looks at it as an opportunity. In a way he looks at it as he's sacrificing his childhood to, and he tries not to be bitter about it. But I mean, you know, he's a 13-year-old. What are you going to do? You're going to complain.
Yeah. Sounds like self-pitying. All right. Maybe insecure.
Sure. I can play insecure. I'm good at that one. Because, I mean, hey, there's a distinct possibility that my parents left, that nothing happened to them. They just left.
All right. You're out of your room. You're on your way downstairs. Do you see anyone at breakfast when you leave the house in the morning?
No, it's too early, but I know that I tend to get up before anybody else, so I make sure that the cereal's out on the table and ready. You know, there's a bowl, there's a spoon. Julie's stuff's out. She's ready. And I go roll papers and hit the delivery route.
Last question before you leave your house. The spring dance was on Saturday. Did you go?
No.
Okay.
No, I was cutting firewood for Mrs. Stevens down the block because her kids didn't want to.
Who wakes up next?
I think Kelly might.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think she likes to get to school nice and early.
What time do you try to get to school?
Sorry, when does homeroom start again?
8:20.
She's there at like 7:45.
Okay, so you wake up. Describe your room.
My room is extremely neat and well organized. There are bookshelves that are filled. If you looked closely at the books, you would see that they are in a very specific order. She has posters on her walls of all multiple different bands that she likes. So very much just putting things on the walls that she thinks are fun and cool looking, but they're all like very straight. There is not a crooked poster in the room. It's all very straight and neat and orderly.
So as you get dressed today, you get ready to leave your room and you take a minute in front of the mirror. What do you see? What is your look for today?
I see an average looking 12-year-old girl who has short brown curly hair and hazel eyes and a smattering of freckles. She has chosen her clothes are very plain. I've chosen just a nice plain t-shirt, clean t-shirt, nice pair of jeans, pair of sneakers.
Anything interesting on the t-shirt?
It's going to be a t-shirt. Actually, it's going to be her favorite band.
Which is?
Okay, so her favorite band, you guys, is Joy Division. And I have to tell you why.
I know this girl.
So she is a mathlete, and she stumbled across them because she thought to herself, I too find joy in Division. And then she listened to them, and her life was forever changed.
As soon as you said mathlete, I knew.
2 thumbs up.
And before you leave the room looking at yourself in the mirror, when you think about your own personal identity when it comes to race and ethnicity, gender and sexuality, what do you see? What do you put out in the world?
A straight, white, young female, middle class, probably.
What strengths do you think you have?
My character sheet tells me that my strengths are intuitive and prepared. Mm-hmm.
What flaws do you feel that you may or may not have?
I think she's neurotic. Everything has to be just so. She has to have the right answer for everything. And she's probably a little bit clumsy, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is she aware of that?
I think that her mother has told her that she's clumsy and bought her a hula hoop to help her practice gracefulness. But I don't think that Kelly, thinks about it much.
It's getting dusty in the corner.
Why do you get satisfaction from being good at math?
Math feels safe. She likes to have structure in her life, and math has a right answer and a wrong answer and a process and formulas, and you can read about it and follow the process and come up with the same answer every time. So it brings her great satisfaction that she can do that.
All right. You leave your room. You go out for breakfast. Who do you usually see at breakfast time?
My mom and dad.
How does that usually go? How is your breakfast?
Breakfast is great. She loves her parents. Carl and Darlene are awesome parents. They always make sure to sit down to have breakfast, talk about what their days are going to look like, talk about what anyone is looking forward to that day, that kind of thing. And then once she's had a very hearty breakfast, they send her off to school.
The spring dance was on Saturday. Did you go?
Oh, yes. She went with her mathlete friends. They danced in a circle. It was great.
Do you have a best mathlete friend?
Yeah, let's say Jenny.
So at breakfast, your mom, one of the things that sort of stays with you, like as you start to leave for the day, was she says something. How close do you listen to her in the morning?
It maybe depends on how much sleep Kelly got.
Okay. How are you this morning?
I'm feeling good. I think I'm engaged in conversation with my parents, listening.
You know, I was talking to Debbie Simpkins, and she said that Wally said that something happened at the dance, something weird, something out of the ordinary. Do you know what she was talking about?
No.
No, nothing. You didn't see anything strange, nothing to report, nothing to tell your parents about. We're here for you.
I mean, do I roll for that?
You did or you didn't?
I'm going to say no, she didn't. She was just dancing in that circle with her friends, not paying attention to anything else.
Okay. Who wakes up next?
Okay, I'll wake up with a banging on the door. I actually have taken up residence in the family's garage.
Oh, you're moving up.
Yeah. Well, I'm moving out because my little sister is like 10 and we were sharing a bedroom, and I'm 13 and we both needed our space. And so I moved into the garage.
Yeah. What have you done to decorate it?
I put up some posters. I found some blacklight posters. I do not have a blacklight. So they're just, it's pretty underwhelming, and they're just kind of, I stapled them to some boxes. And
Yeah.
I'm on a couch out there.
Okay.
But it feels pretty big boy, and I'm just wishing I could get one of those mini fridges. And then I could complete the illusion of living on my own.
Yeah. Well, Chance did have an opportunity to put up a mirror. Today, when you stopped to look in the mirror after you got dressed, what do you see? What is your look for today?
My look is t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah, your shorts all year round?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shorts year round, because he feels like it's a pretty easy identity that only takes, a sweatshirt to make it work.
Yeah.
So he's hoodie, t-shirt, shorts kind of guy. And people say, look at that guy's wearing shorts, and he feels special.
What do you see as far as how you identify with your own race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality?
Oh, I think he's just a hetero white teenager who just desperately wishes he was older.
Mm-hmm.
and could leave his house.
Yeah. Just waiting for your time to go?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why he's the only one of his friends that has a job. But he uses the job also just so he can say he has a job and be gone from the house.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of as your strengths?
His biggest strength is making excuses. He's very good at that. He also is. He's weirdly optimistic. Is one of his strengths too. Kind of can take a breath and see a silver lining.
Yeah. If for game purposes you had to pick two of the following, would you go with cool under pressure, easygoing, skilled at a specific thing, treasure hunter, unassuming, or wealthy?
I would pick cool under pressure and treasure hunter.
Cool.
And that just means he's always, every time he walks past a payphone, he checks the coin return.
Yeah.
And always looking, and pulls the newspaper machine to see if quarters will drop out.
Yeah.
You scoop pennies out of the fountain?
Yeah, he's that guy.
I dated that guy. I really did.
When it comes to recognizing your own flaws, let's say you had two of them. Are you self-aware enough to know what they are?
This is a trick question because if you say no, he's going to pick two flaws for you.
Right.
There's a list.
I'm sorry, Jonah. I had to say it.
Fine warning.
I feel like one of his flaws, even though he pretends like he doesn't, he takes negative opinions about himself as truth. Whether it's because he always does poorly in school or whatever it is, he's just like, well, I guess I'm just a loser. And but then it's like, well, these get degrees, but I'm not going to college. So his big idea is to just get a job and get off the island.
Yeah, there's a whole world out there.
Yeah. Away from my mom's boyfriend. That's one of his big motivators. And his mom's boyfriend is actually a really nice dude, but he kind of can't see it.
Yeah. As a laid back slacker, what are you willing to go the extra mile for?
Probably to make a good joke, or to do public mischief, hanging up fake lost dog signs. That kind of, he'll go the extra mile if it's just weird and he thinks it's fun.
All right, you're out of the garage. You're on your way to breakfast. Who do you usually see at breakfast?
The whole family has breakfast together.
How does that go well usually?
It's usually, I'm pretty not involved with it. I kind of tune out. So I listen a little. I listen to my little sister, not so much my mom, and definitely not her boyfriend.
What's your sister's name?
It is Molly.
Okay. So this morning, do we know your mom's boyfriend's name?
My mom's boyfriend's name is Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this morning. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. He's really he wants to be involved, and which is a huge inconvenience for me.
So this morning breakfast went, the same way it always does. The spring dance was on Saturday. Did you go?
I said I did.
Yeah.
But I did not.
Okay.
I just like walking around town.
Hanging out with me while I chopped wood.
Yeah, but I definitely did not go.
Okay. And that's kind of weird because as your mom says to you at the end of breakfast, I thought one of my friends did say that there was something odd that happened at the end of the dance. What do you know what that was? What she was talking about?
Oh, for sure. It was this, like, I think people flushed all the toilets at once, and it caused this weird, this plumbing backup. It was dumb. It was just kids being dumb.
Oh, that's ridiculous, says Dave.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not a part of that, Dave.
Yeah. No, I mean, it doesn't make sense because, you do something like that, especially in one of these buildings with the old plumbing. They've been working on trying to improve the sewage system, all throughout the town for years now. They haven't really gotten there yet. You do something like that, it's really going to put pressure on everybody else's plumbing.
For sure. And I have a job, so I'm also a taxpayer, Dave.
Yeah.
And I'm
I wish more kids were like you.
I would never do that.
Yeah. I got to get to work. Did you need a ride to school? I give you and your sister a ride to school today. Or did you still want to take your bike, or do you want me to drive you?
No, I got my skates. Don't even worry about it.
All right. Would he take Molly?
Yeah, Molly will go with him.
Okay. And you get ready to go to school. Who wakes up next?
I'll go next.
Okay. So you wake up, you turn off your alarm, you look around the room. Can you describe your bedroom for us?
So I'm allowed to decorate any way I want, and I found this really awesome flecked wallpaper that's kind of a dark grayish lavender with kind of a black velvet gothic pattern on top of it. It's very Victorian, and my parents didn't like it, but they allowed me to put it up. Well, have it put up. So, but I actually have a poster from Asia's Heat of the Moment. Was it Heat of the Moment with the dragon and the pyramid? Remember that? I have that poster up on my wall, and even though I prefer the Eurythmics and stuff, but I really loved the dragon in that picture and the colors of that. Plus the song was really cool. It was a good album. Yeah.
So you stop, take a look in the mirror for a couple minutes before you leave your room this morning. Tell us what you see. Tell us what your look is today.
So it took me a while to pick out what I wanted to wear today, but I finally decided on a long black skirt, and I've got my favorite black boots on, and kind of a hip-length sweater with a really funky silver hip belt that I've actually made it myself out of chunky pieces of metal. So. Oh, and a hat. I have a black beret on today.
When you think about your race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, what do you see? What are you putting out into the world?
So, because it's 1984 and I actually lived 1984, you didn't really have any choices. Like, I didn't know there were any choices. There weren't any options. I'm a straight girl, but I do think there are a couple of girls that are really, really, really pretty, but I would never talk to them.
Mm. What do you think of when you think of your own strengths?
So I am very intuitive and unassuming. I like to kind of blend in. And I can be cool under pressure. But
are you aware of your flaws?
Yeah, I can be pretty secretive, and I'm very blunt. Just right to the chase. I'm blunt. Yeah.
What part of the stereotypical cool kid life do you kind of wish you had just a little bit?
That's a good question. It would be nice to have friends, but I always seem to be on on the edges, on the outskirts, and nobody ever wants to let me in. So I guess that's the part that I wish that I had.
So you're out of your room. You're going out for breakfast. What family do you usually see at breakfast? How does breakfast usually go for you?
So Dad works all the time. He's already at work, and Mom doesn't get up until 11:30 or 11, depends on how late she stayed up drinking or whatever she does at night. So it's just me and the servants who make breakfast, and so yeah, I have a housekeeper, and she made me pancakes this morning. They were good, and orange juice, fresh squeezed orange juice.
The spring dance was on Saturday. Did you go?
I did go. I wish I didn't, though, but I did. I didn't dance with anybody. Stood in the corner and watched a lot of stuff. But
When you think about the dance, how did it go? How did it end? Did it end in a weird way? Did you stay until the end?
I didn't stay quite until the end. I had someone come pick me up before then, but I did notice at one point there was like a group of kids who just sort of gathered by one of the doors and kind of all went out at the same time. But I didn't know what was going on. It looked like something weird was going on, but I don't know what.
All right. Well, you were out the door and on the way to school. Last up, one more person to wake up for school today.
So, kind of, excuse me, spent most of the evening talking to the guys in the harbor on my CB radio that I have set up in my room, just kind of listening to the chatter. Sometimes I just leave it on just because the sound of them talking kind of, soothes me to sleep. My brain races. I don't sleep well, so by the time the sun is up and I have to get up and go to school and whatnot, I'm usually not firing on all my best impulses. But I remember to put on clothes, which isn't always guaranteed. I go downstairs.
Well, hold on, wait. Hold on. Before you leave your room and you have a minute to stop and look in the mirror. Tell what do you see?
There's no mirror.
Oh,
in my room,
no mirror.
That is the folktale legends are all rooted in reality, and stuff like that can trap your soul. No way. I know what I look like.
Oh, okay. What did you do? What is your look for today?
Standard issue denim jacket, sleeves cut off, patches and buttons and stuff kind of sewed to it. And jeans that are still holding together. Because unlike that guy from Def Leppard, I earned the holes in my jeans, dude.
Oh.
Nobody went at it. No fashion consultant went at it with a razor blade ahead of time.
Oh.
Don't get me started, man. You can buy those pre-ripped things in the mall now, whatever.
I got something to say. Because it's better to burn out than to fade away.
Anyway, so that's what I'm wearing. Yeah, high tops, the usual. Nothing special. Shirt of today, Frankenstein.
How's your hair?
Not nearly as long as I would like it to be. Kind of in perma mullet, like the kid where their hair doesn't get long, it gets big. So it's just kind of all like leaning off to one side, basically, and mullety, but not in any sort of charming way. It's. I wish it would just get long. God. It's almost like I don't put nutrients in my body, because he lives on Pop-Tarts and Jolt, so there's nothing to grow decent hair with. Jeez.
When you think about your race, ethnicity, gender, and sexuality, what do you plan any of that? How does it go out into the world?
It is 1980 something, and I've never once spent a second thinking about anything like that. That is just not on my radar at all. Mm-hmm. My parents are super accepting, like love and whatever, kind of people. So I dig people, but here on the vineyard we probably don't see a lot of ethnicity or whatever. But I think people are cool. I got no problems with, Some of my best friends are black guys I don't know.
When you do think about things that you're good at, when you think about your strengths, what comes to mind?
Well, these days it's mostly been getting rad at guitar. It takes a while, but I feel pretty good about that. This kid on the island, his parents up and disappeared about 1.5 years ago, and I saw that in the newspaper, and I kind of keep a scrapbook on all things that happen weird here on the island because there's tons. And that opened a chance to get to know him. He plays guitar too, so sometimes we would just jam to help him get through his grief and whatnot. And I've been getting better because he's actually better than me.
So if you were to think about it in game terms, and you were to pick two between heroic, intuitive, prepared, skilled at something, treasure hunter, or unassuming, which two would you pick?
I chose quick healing because I've had my ass handed to me a lot of times by this toolbag Scott Chambers, who's on the rugby team, and local lore and researching the same. So I spent a lot of time at the guys out at the marina, and then it was pre-chosen on my thing that rebellious was already a thing. So I'm assuming I just
we're all rebellious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So quick healing and local lore research.
Okay. Yeah, that works. When you think about flaws, are you self-aware enough to be aware of some of your flaws?
Well, I took paranoid because they really are out to get you, and tactless. So he's not mean-spirited at all. There's no filter between his thoughts and his mouth. So that's probably a flaw that he can't quite understand why Scott Chambers beats on him so often, things like that. So I think he's kind of an unaware dude in that regard.
Okay. If there was one thing happening in the town that nobody knew about that you really wish they knew about, what would it be?
That the whole town should know about?
Yeah, if what's happening around here that nobody knows about that you think everybody really should know about?
Well, there's tons of stuff that I think first and foremost people should know that Madonna sucks. Music for chicks. There's other cool ladies like Pat Benatar. She rocks. She's still got a set. You know what I'm saying? But the town proper should probably know that this place was founded on a lot of bad stuff back in the day, and the fingers of that still reach into what's going on today, man. Most of these upright citizens are probably totally unaware of the stuff that their neighbors actually get up to in their cellars and their work sheds, and you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If they just can't, they would not. So maybe it's good that they don't know. This writer in the 1930s, Lovecraft, said that the ability to correlate the human mind is one of our strongest things, but it's also bad because once you realize how crazy things are, you're boned, flat out. So ignorance is bliss, right? Just keep eating that processed food and just keep listening to Madonna, man. And you'll be good.
So, does that mean that you're spying on people in their basement? Inquiring minds want to know.
You know what? He actually, I patterned him after the Edgar and Allan Frog from Lost Boys. So those two conspiracy kids, basically. So he has a backpack full of duct tape, pliers. Really horrible. He started out, he wanted binoculars, but he couldn't afford the ones from the Army surplus store, so he got a spyglass from Toys R Us. Tried that out. So yeah, he does roll through the town after, because he's not sleeping, so he's got his headset on, and it's got Metallica's Master of Puppets on both sides of the cassette, and he does a lot of surveillance is what he calls it. He thinks it's all going to be valuable down the road.
Are you trying to find a pattern?
Oh yeah, patterns are in everything. He doesn't quite have like the pin board in his room with the little things of yarn between it. He doesn't know from that yet, but he's on his way, man. Yeah, for sure.
So once you're downstairs or out of your room and ready to go for breakfast, who do you usually see at breakfast? How does that usually go?
The house is usually empty by the time I get up because I'm the last one up. But my mom leaves me like unopened Pop-Tarts and you know, she's cool about me drinking Jolt. It's all good.
The spring dance was on Saturday. Did you go?
I don't even care that Holly Renard went with that sack Jeff Treganza. I mean, I hope she had a nice evening listening and talk about himself all night. Whatever. We used to play D&D together. I don't know where her head's at. Cheerleader squad. Pep squad, yay. No, man, I did not go. I heard things.
Did you hear something strange about how it ended?
Well, you know, that's interesting. The dudes out in the marina, you know, the Chum Hole is that bar is like what 15 feet from the school gymnasium. I don't know how they regulated that one. Those guys were talking about a stink, not like a smoke bomb stink, but like a funk that rolled up about towards the end of that thing, and they heard the ground shaking. You want to hear my theory?
Yeah,
because everything's tied together.
Yeah.
All the wicked stuff that this place was built on, all the tunnels and whatnot that are permeate this island, eventually they're going to give, man, and that douche hole is going to collapse. That whole high school is going in. Good riddance. That's what I think's starting to happen.
Yeah. All right. You are out the door and on your way to school. CJ, how do you get to school?
Bring papers. I take the long way. I have like 3 different paper routes, so because it helps.
Yeah. So by the time you get to school, like you've pretty much gone through all the neighborhoods, or are you mostly delivering around where you live? Or are you getting into everybody's property?
It's not everybody's property, but a fair swath. Paper routes are. You have to get them to subscribe through you, so it's fairly spread out. CJ's a hustler.
So your house in particular, what's your street like?
Our house is kind of. It could have been nice. It was probably really nice at one point, but we just don't have the money to keep for the upkeep. Most of the money again goes towards paying property taxes, and so it's starting to look pretty rough. I mean, I try, and I'm 13 years old, but I try to keep it painted-ish, but it's just painting over flaking paint because he's 13. He doesn't know how to paint a house. And it's just a little ranch, small cottage. And so the rest of the houses on the street look really, really nice compared to ours.
Do you have a D8 in front of you?
Of course I do. What do you think I am?
Can you roll me a D8?
7.
All right. This is interesting. Okay, so on your way to school today, you just find yourself thinking about places in your neighborhood, places in the town. And one of the things that crossed your mind was a good way for middle school kids to make money. What was that came to mind?
A good way for middle school kids to make money? So I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, all right, so there's this new candy store at the mall. I think it's called Mr. Bulky. And what I could do is I could take some of the money that I've got socked away, and I could go to Mr. Bulky, and they've got these things now called sour heads, and it's just these big sour bombs that it's citric acid. It just makes you pucker, and everybody loves them, right? So I could buy a bag of those, or a box of sour, or like a jug of sour, and I could take them to school because they're individually wrapped. I could sell them for $0.25 each. And if I sell them at $0.25 each, that's like a 250, 300% markup. I could literally make money selling warheads or sour bombs. That's what I'm thinking. It's an easy way for a middle schooler to make money.
Roll the 8 again.
I got another 7.
We can't do 2 7s.
I got a 3.
Okay. Something about this ride to school made you think about a particular place in your town in Oak Bluffs that you try to avoid. What is that place?
There is... I used to deliver papers to this one guy, and he was just creepy. The way he looked at totally unnerved me to the point that, I'd heard rumors that pets would disappear around his house. And of course, middle school kids, he's eating them. And finally, it just got too creepy. And he was actually asking what in retrospect were fairly innocuous questions. He's probably a lonely guy, but to a middle school kid who's creeped out by the potential cat dog eater guy, it was just too much and too creepy. And so I stay away from his house. I actually bailed on his paper route and never delivered another paper to his house. And I tend to stay away from that neighborhood.
Yeah. Did you have a nickname for his house?
Yeah, we called it the Hole. Because it was like the black hole where the pets would disappear. So everybody called it the Hole.
Oh, all right. And you got to school just fine. Kelly, how'd you get to school?
On my bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does it usually take you?
I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
Do you meet up with friends? Do you go by yourself? Is it a lonely ride or is it a busy ride?
It's a lonely ride.
What is your neighborhood like? Where is your house? What are the houses around you?
I live in the Trinity Park area, so I have one of those cute gingerbread cottages or whatever. And so the street is all the houses look nice. The street is nice, clean.
Do you have a D8 in front of you?
I do.
Oh. Roll it for me.
4.
So in order for you to get to school from where you live, you do have to ride up Circuit Avenue, which has a lot of shops. A lot of them are closed because it's off season. But it starts you thinking about like this spot that the popular kids like to hang out at. Do you remember what that is?
Yeah, it is a diner. It's called the Seaside Diner.
What do you think of it?
I have no desire to be there.
Is it near the sea?
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know. Roll the D8 again.
Okay. 5.
So when you're thinking about the Seaside Diner, it leads you kind of logically into a place that you like to go where the popular kids don't go because it's kind of quiet. What is that?
My dad's antique shop.
Oh, is it quiet in a good way or a bad way?
In a good way, I think, because she knows when to go when people won't be in or whatever.
What's the name of the antique shop?
Shipwreck Treasures.
And you get to school just fine today.
Hooray!
Chance.
Yes.
How do you get to school?
I have roller skates because I realized a lot of the kids ride bikes. And I thought about a bike, but you have to pedal a bike. So I just kind of go slow on my skates until some kid comes by with a bike, and then I just put my thumb out and grab the seat and get a ride.
Banana seat with the loop on the back?
There's some of them.
So do you usually, does that mean you tend to meet up with people on the way to school?
Yeah. I'm pretty friendly with everybody.
So where do you live in a busy area? What's your neighborhood like?
I live in it's a neighborhood where everybody works, so everybody's getting out and about, and it's a lot of smaller houses. And it's fairly trafficked. It's only a mile from the school, so everyone kind of gets close to it. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of rides to choose from.
Yeah. Do you have a D8?
I do.
Give me one.
I got a 2.
When you think of Oak Bluffs and the island of Martha's Vineyard, what is the first notable landmark that comes to mind?
There's this cemetery where there's a ship captain buried, and they have a cannon for his headstone, and it's kind of old and not really well built, and so it looks like a wheelchair with a cannon in it, and it's kind of a landmark where you can go meet your friends.
Yeah.
At the wheelchair gun, and no one will bug you.
Roll the D8 again.
Okay, that was another 2. How about a 4?
Yeah. When you think about places that kids like to go hang out at, what do you think of? It might be even a place that you like to hang out at that is popular for other kids. What do you think of?
Oh, there's a lot of people just go and sit on the shore on the, at the beach. There's a little cove place where young kids go to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of out of the way. You got to crawl over rocks to get there. So that's kind of a cool place to just go. He has a lot of places to just kind of to hang out alone with your friends without grown-ups bugging you.
Yeah. And you smoke?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
But it seems like all the kids that do whatever they want smoke. So that's kind of, he's just a little scared of smoking.
All right. You get to school just fine today.
All right.
Yes.
How do you usually get to school?
So my dad's assistant usually picks me up on the way and drops me off on her way to work.
Yeah. Is it the same thing every day?
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. How do you feel about that?
I don't mind. I mean, I don't have to ride my bike to school. So, if it's cold or rainy or whatever, at least I have a dry ride. So, it's okay. And I'm all right being by myself. I don't have any friends I want to walk with or whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay.
What's your neighborhood like?
It's kind of fancy. I mean, we have like a big plot, and the houses are, not real close together and stuff, but we don't talk to the neighbors or anything.
Have you been in that house for a long time?
Yeah, since I was born.
Do you have a D8?
I do. Believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's this one, right? Woo!
Yeah.
All right. I got a 7.
7. For you, what do you think of when you think of a good way for middle school kids to make money?
Well, for me in particular, or just kids in general?
I don't know. It's just something crossing your mind today that maybe it's what you would do. Maybe it's what you would not do, but other kids would do.
Okay. Well, something I like to do is I like to not really dumpster dive, but I like to look at things that people have decided are not worth having around anymore. And I try to create them into something that is worth having around, like, jewelry or art or, found object kind of things like that. And I was hoping to be able to sell them in town at the New Age shop to get a little bit of extra cash that my parents wouldn't know about, so I could use however I wanted to.
Roll it again.
5.
What is a local spot that you like to go to when you want quiet?
I like to go over where the flying horses, the carousel is, and just sort of sit on a bench around the edges and just be alone.
Yeah.
Watch everybody, watch what's going on.
You get to school without incident.
Yay!
Cliff, how do you usually get to school?
I hoof it. I'm not super far.
You're pretty
It gives
close.
me a chance I just put the headphones on and just, one foot after the other. Sometimes I see that chance kid, the one with those squirrely hair, like fully riding someone else's bike by just like holding on to the back and stuff. He's goofy, but I gotta say I admire that he just does not care what people think about him. It's pretty cool.
So you tend not to meet up with anybody, but you see people that you know and respect. You just don't go with them. You don't walk with them.
Yeah, I mean, nobody seems to be walking on my route. I end up at the wall, and have a smoke, and then I'm there before Pepioni's shop math class, and that's my first class.
Mm-hmm. What's your neighborhood like?
It's cool. It's the people are nice. It's a little I don't know, man. I guess you'd call it kind of like inbred. Like the families just flat out spend way too much time with each other, and like there's 7 houses, people have the same last name. You look on those mailboxes, it's all Ford. Dude, really? Anyway, yeah, it's fine. It's home.
Do you have a D8?
I'm not a Ford.
Oh,
I do. 3.
What is a local spot that you avoid?
Oh, flat out that fucking C A-holes diner down on the pier. Goes there. Pass.
But I heard it was popular.
Yeah. So is Madonna. Hello.
Another D8,
You know what else
please.
is?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, you know what else is popular? The war, Iran-Contra. That's popular too, man. Don't get me started.
Another D8 roll, please.
8.
Oh, this is good for you. What is a place with a secret that you know?
A place with a secret. Well, there's a lot in town, but I mean, are you talking about like somewhere I would hang out?
No, not necessarily. Something that maybe you came across and you're like, oh, I know something about that place.
Yeah, the strip mall, the one that's out by the what's that place called? Melon Shakers. That's on the outskirts by the airport. Mall.
Beachcomber Mall.
Yeah. Tourist mall. That place is totally built on a Wamapoke burial ground. I mean, just flat out. Like it's like they wrote the script for the guys there. So I don't know from secrets, but that place is probably spooky after hours. And I
That's
think
where the New Age shop is, by the way.
Yeah.
That's you missed that part. Yeah.
Well, I've seen that Kirsten girl. Like sometimes I'm out walking at night and I see her bringing home stuff that I guess she's pulling from like alleys or whatnot, and she makes stuff out of it. I've seen her like selling some stuff on consignment at that store. It's pretty boss looking too, man. You could probably turn a lot of her stuff into like a
weapon.
Bong.
Oh. A weaponized bong.
A bong. Very
Older-
dangerous bong.
He has this one that totally looks like Gandalf, but you turn it upside down and it's a bong. I don't do that stuff, but it's just smells good.
Well,
Nice.
you've gotten to school safely today. Well, one of the things that you all noticed when you did get to school today is that nobody's taken down the decorations from the spring dance. We still have that cockeyed banner that fell halfway off the wall. There's streamers still on the ground. There's balloons. Some of them are still lumped together, but all the helium is gone. They're just sort of floating around, which is odd. Since none of you are here at the end of the dance, or at least paying attention, it's interesting that we don't know what was going on yet.
Yeah, none of us were here.
So lucky for us, you're all in homeroom together. And your homeroom teacher is Mr. Lyman. He's nice enough, I suppose.
Mr. Hyman.
Well, what's what
Am I
we
right?
call him?
So here's our final character building exercise of the day. Mr. Lyman is going to take attendance. And he's going to start alphabetically. And this is probably a fine point because what we've learned in this is that none of you are knowingly related. So you all have last names. And,
I do, yes.
Yeah.
Ford.
None of us are related, but our last names are all Ford.
All forward.
Okay, so he's gonna go alphabetically, and I didn't write down all of your last names.
Ooh.
CJ Bowman.
Anybody before B?
What is the CJ short for?
You don't know.
Okay.
Well, I guess you do.
Your
I mean,
teacher does because the
first day of school
Monday.
they'll say it. The first day of school they'll all say it out loud. So it's Clarence.
Cool.
All right, and he starts with you, Clarence. CJ. And now we're all going to go into slow motion and roll d20s. So the first question really for everybody is, and we'll start with Kelly on this. You've been in the class with these people for a long time, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you know everybody well enough to say that you know them. Kelly, do you know CJ or do you not know him? All right, roll me a d20.
I do not know him.
So this is a good time to talk about
I rolled a 10.
This game is all about yes and. So now we're all going to learn things about ourselves and our characters from other characters that maybe you hadn't thought about. Here's the thing. You don't know CJ, but the question I have for you is, how far would you go to get to know him, and why?
I mean, I think I would go as far as I'm going to start talking to this person because I believe his character description was he wears like button shirt, like he dresses nicely for work, to do the work things. And as a character who likes structure and things having order and being put together, she looks at this character like, I think we would actually get along, and I should make an effort to hang out with you.
Do you know CJ or not?
Yeah, we had PE together.
Is it a positive relationship or a negative relationship?
No, it's fine. He's a cool guy. We pulled a prank on some dude. It was really amazing. A guy was kind of being a bully to some other kids. We were playing baseball on the blacktop, and CJ was getting worked up about it. And I said, "Oh, we'll just do this." And I took a banana peel that I was eating a banana, dropped the peel on second base, and then we stood back, not thinking that actually worked. And the guy came running around second base, put his foot on the peel, and went ass over tea kettle. And he thought that was pretty good. So he's a pretty good dude with me.
Yeah.
He did.
That's Scott Caldwell.
Scott Caldwell.
Yeah.
Roll me a 20.
13.
So what is it about CJ that always makes you happy?
He's always got candy to something else.
He's always got candy to something else.
He
You
always.
call home and someone will answer.
I'm excited. Like I like hanging around with CJ because he'll always do the work for both of us.
As-
He's like a hardworking dude. I can
Mr.
Group
Project.
draft on him. So
Mr. Group Project.
yeah.
yeah, right.
Oh, so maybe he's one of the bikes that you wait for to catch a ride in the morning.
Oh yeah, he always gives me a ride. Whenever he's passing by, I put my thumb out, and he can't help it.
Oh, you just got a nickname, by the way.
Phaedra.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know
I've seen
CJ
him
or
around. I
not?
mean, we have the same homeroom and stuff. He delivers the paper to our house, but like I don't really know him.
Roll a d20.
2.
You do have your ear. Interestingly, you pick things up just from being around. Why do some members of the town seek
Well, of
out
course he
CJ?
knows everything that's going on too, because he has to stop by every single person's house with his bike, his paper route, you know. So he sees who's coming and who's going and who's where and doing what. He knows stuff.
So because he knows stuff.
He knows stuff.
People look for him because he knows stuff. All right, Cliff. Do you know him or not?
Yeah, oh yeah. He and I are gonna start a band.
Okay, so it's a positive relationship so far.
Definitely, yeah. He's been through some stuff, man, but he's standing tall. He's a good dude.
Cool. Roll me a 20.
Just a note: this 20-sided has from 1 to 10 twice, the way the original dice did, and then you have to roll another die with it to determine whether it's in the ones place or the tens place. For example, I'm going to roll for it. I got a 2. Now that could be a 2 or a 12, but my D6 now, from 1 to 3, it will be a 2. From 4 to 6, 12. This is the horrible crap we used to have to go through back in the day. It is a 12.
Okay.
Keeping it old
I
school.
have a 30-sided die. I'm moved into the new school, dude. A 24-sided die, a 16-sided die,
24-sided die, a 16-sided die,
You
5-sided
played
die.
My
D&D?
iPhone
I do
rolls
play
for
some
me.
DCC.
I do play some DCC.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Represent.
So you guys get along and you like each other, but why exactly do you have a bond with him that can't be broken?
That can't be broken?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I do like him. I genuinely do like him. I respect his musicianship, his parents, or however he ended up hearing all this different music that's so diverse. Like I would never know to listen to some of the stuff he has, and it really opened my mind to other music. But what he probably doesn't know is that I keep a journal on his day-to-day mental state every time we hang out, and I add to the scrapbook I've been keeping on the disappearance of his family ever since I found that first newspaper. So it's not a bond outright as it is. He is also a subject I'm interested in because it's all part of local lore, and I just can't help it.
I'm a research subject. Let me
Your
just
words,
say,
not mine.
in full disclosure,
Love it.
I once stopped talking to a girl in college when I found in her room a notebook that was titled "Things Mikey Has Said to Me."
As
Were
well
you at least
should.
dating?
As well
Please
you
tell
should
me.
have.
No,
Not even dating. Just
Not
some chick
really,
who
no.
Knew you. Wow.
we were in full flirt, but then we were we were incommunicado.
That's a little creepy.
That's more than a little creepy.
So it's not a bond that can't be broken, but it is. I do tend to spend more time with him than pretty much other people currently.
Yeah. Whose name is next after B?
I'm a D.
C. Caldwell, Scott Caldwell.
Fuck that guy.
We all hate Scott Caldwell.
He absolutely earned the road rash. You guys fully gave me that banana prank.
Danvers.
So Phaedra, what is your last name? Danvers. CJ, do you know
Yes.
Phaedra? Is it a positive or negative
It's a
impression?
little of both.
If you were to roll on a positive or negative table.
Well, I'll tell you why, and then you decide. We were
Okay.
best friends in elementary school, but sometime around
Things
fourth
you
grade,
said.
I found a book that said, no.
things CJ has said.
Sometime around fourth grade, she just stopped talking to me for whatever reason. And then, now she acts like she didn't even really know me.
I think that's negative.
All right.
I think there's some hard feelings there.
That's a 6. I rolled a 6.
You may want to elaborate on what you just said as I ask you, what is this character doing, either knowingly or unknowingly, that hurts
she
you?
absolutely, look, when the GM asked her, do you know CJ? She said, no, not really. My parents do. He delivers the paper to our house, right? But we were best friends, right?
I don't know you anymore.
We used to watch Nova reruns in elementary school. We had it on VHS. It was awesome. Me and her and Carl Sagan and billions and billions of stars. and now it's like she doesn't even remember that we were best friends. And that hurts.
Kelly, do you know Phaedra? Would you say you think of her positively or negatively?
Positively. We took an art class together,
Roll a 20.
and I got to know her a little bit better in that class. Positively.
Why do you care about her more than she cares about you?
5. When we were in art class together, Kelly is not an artist. She is a mathlete. She learned some techniques from Phaedra, and Phaedra complimented her work. So Kelly began to see her as like somebody she could really look up to. And so she really thinks about her and thinks about her opinion. Whereas Phaedra probably didn't even give a second thought to helping the mathlete
Chance.
Draw a better art or build a better thing.
Do you know her or do you not know her?
Yeah, she hangs out outside my work. She looks pretty lonely. I don't want to sell her out, but she eats a lot of crab rolls, which are gross.
Oh, come on, lobster rolls.
If you want to call them lobster rolls, yeah, you're welcome to, like the tourists. But
I come out of the same box, dude.
Yeah. I mean, she's nice enough. But I don't know her that well. She seems to keep to herself, and when I know she's into Madonna, I'm into Madonna. That's about it.
So roll me a d20.
9.
Oh. What volunteer work have you heard that she does or did?
Oh, I heard
She
she was
used to pretend to be best friends with this kid.
That's a volunteer.
I remember that, the Helpatard program.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
She was part of it was this Save the Lobster project. And they would clean up trash off the beach because apparently that's bad for lobsters or something. But lobsters are like cockroaches, so I don't think they need any saving.
They're tasty. Tasty cockroaches.
She's like saving lobsters and eating them. I don't know. Seems kind of duplicitous to me.
All right. Cliff, Do you know Phaedra or do you not know Phaedra?
Not well. We're friendly.
Okay.
I think she's got a cool style. She kind of looks like that chick from the Breakfast Club.
Roll me a d20.
Again, got to roll 2 dice. 19.
What scandal? You know this one too. What scandal in town was she involved with?
Jeez, define scandal, man. Like hardcore scandal?
I don't know.
I don't mean porn. I mean just what passes for scandal in a small town is not really this.
Yeah.
I'm overthinking this.
She's the Lindbergh baby.
She has this thing that she's done since grade school. She tried to whip it out on me once too, where we would go over to her place after school and watch the after school special and whatnot. And she has enough interest in guy stuff, she's got some model kits and things like that. But then one day she'll just be like, she's not mean, she's just done with you. Whatever it is you brought to the table is not a thing anymore. And I don't think it's mean-spirited or whatnot, but it's almost like she wakes up and forgets. I got this theory that maybe she does forget. What if her brain's working in she wakes up and she's a traveler in another dimension where we never met or something, you know what I'm saying? So I don't blame her. She's cool, but I thought we were friends. I don't know if that's a scandal, but it kind of sucks.
You know what's creepy is it actually kind of happened. I have this thing in my brain for realsies that I just forget people sometimes. And I went back to Arizona after living in North Carolina for a year, and a friend had a birthday party for me and invited my friends. And I introduced myself to one of the girls, and she was like, you know me. So there you go.
Art imitating life.
That's right.
How do we know so much about you? For that, we need to go over to Cliff, the conspiracy theorist.
The scandal is that her family just appeared one time, out of nowhere. They had moved in overnight in the 2nd grade. House is empty, forward. Suddenly her whole family's here. And her dad just seemed like he didn't know how to dress himself. Someone was buying him his clothes. Total witness relocation or something or other. Weird.
He owns a property development company, and
So there might be a reason why Cliff believes this to be true. I think that works. Last name after D. Chance Ridley. CJ.
Present.
Do you know him or do you not know him?
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. And you feel positive? You feel negative?
Nah, I'm positive.
Roll me a 20.
10.
10?
10. I'm not a good D20 roller.
What is he sacrificing to protect you?
Wow, what is he sacrificing to protect me? He is currently wow. Okay. Wow. What's he sacrificing? What is a middle schooler sacrificing to protect me?
Who knows why she's stopped?
He regularly covers for me in class when I fall asleep. He to wake me up makes it a distraction, and he often gets in trouble for it, but he just doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. And he's willing to serve detentions or whatever, because he knows that I work a lot and we're friends and all, but he regularly causes a distraction, gets people to laugh in class, and draws attention to himself and gets in trouble for it to keep me from getting in trouble for sleeping during class.
That is really good, dude. Like off the top of your head, that is really good.
Kelly, do you know Chance or not?
Not really. No.
Roll me a 20.
13.
What bad reputation does he have around town?
He has a reputation for cutting class and loitering around local businesses.
Sure. I mean, there are a lot of people that would find that to be very bad behavior in the business community.
That's a scandal.
All right. Phaedra,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel as though you know Chance?
Well, he's made fun of me for being on the Save the Lobster project and yet still trying to eat them. So, I mean, we've bumped into each other now and then. I've seen him around. I suppose we say hi and nod as we walk past, but I don't think we really have ever hung out or anything.
Okay.
But I might have forgotten, so who knows?
Roll me a 20.
15.
Oh, this is interesting. Why are so many townspeople afraid of him? What have you been hearing?
Well, they think it's really kind of weird because he moved into the basement or the garage and he just kind of holds himself apart a little bit, and that just always makes people nervous. I know, because they do it to me too. I don't know. I think that, just anytime anybody does something out of the ordinary, everybody thinks something's wrong or they're doing something bad. So I haven't heard anything specific.
Yeah.
Everyone's afraid of freedom.
Maybe they think he's selling drugs out of his garage room.
Oh. Who would be afraid if he was selling drugs?
All the parents.
The parents?
Hey,
And
that would be a
the
way a
good
middle school kid could make money.
That's true. That is, yeah.
All right. Cliff, do you know Chance? Do you not know Chance?
Do. Yeah.
Is it a positive impression or a negative?
There's some things about him that I flat out, I wouldn't tell him to his face, but I admire. Like, he just flat out could not care, Like, I really don't think, it's not an act. I really think he doesn't spend a minute worrying about, like, what the people in this town have to say about him. But he cries in the garage sometimes at night. Like this world is hurting him somehow. I would know because I'm sneaking around the neighborhood.
Recording it, my journal of my friend's feelings.
It's not like he doesn't care about like what people he doesn't know, like society he doesn't. But like if you're in a little bit, that's the impression I get. Like if there's someone he thinks of as a friend has something bad to say about him, he really takes it to heart, and that's tough, That's I try and always, even though I don't know him well, I don't want to be on his cry list at the end of the night, So I just try and say good stuff. That and his roller skates are boss, man. It's like Xanadu every morning when he comes rolling by with CJ. It's awesome.
Roll me a d20.
Excuse me. 8.
What is your private nickname for him and why?
For Chance?
Yeah. That you would never tell him.
Nickname for him.
Cry Me a River.
So you call him River?
That's how I refer to him in my journal entries. Cry Me a River was that last night.
My nickname for you is Skitch because you're always skitching.
What does that even mean?
Don't you? All right. Well, where I grew up, you would
not where I grew up.
You would skitch a ride, like in the winter when there were cars. You would run up and as long as there was ice on the road, you'd grab the bumper of the car and then stay standing and let it pull you along for as long as you could do it. If you had rollerblades or roller skates, you could do the same thing. We called it skitching.
No ice where I grew up.
And your family just appeared one day, and it was witness relocation. We understand. But so, I started calling him Skitch the first time he grabbed the back of my bike, and I gave him a ride, and I just called him Skitch from then on out. Because he skitches around.
All right. Last name S.
Kelly's last name is Shipley.
Shipley. CJ, do you know Kelly or not?
Not really, no.
Okay, roll me a d20.
18.
What is Kelly doing to threaten her family's reputation?
It's this whole mathlete thing.
It's so threatening.
She comes from a long family of jocks. And although they love her and support her, they look at the mathlete thing with an eye roll, especially when she says mathlete, like athlete. I mean,
Athletics is a sport too.
and the brain is a muscle.
Clearly, you've never attended the Ac Olympics.
And they would never say it to her face. They might say it within hearing range of their paper boy.
All right.
And people look at them. People genuinely do look at them funny because they're a family of athletes. They have a tradition of athleticism that passes down through Oak Bluffs, and they hold records on the wall. And
There's a plaque in the high school with their
she's gunning for a 1500 SAT, and that is not the same benchmark.
Yeah. Chance, do you know her or not?
Yes.
Finally, someone knows someone.
Is it a positive or negative impression?
Oh, it's positive. She, in the lunchroom, she'll give me her tater tots. She's one of the only people I know that doesn't like them. So I just cruise by. Boom.
Let me have your tots.
Yeah. So she's aces with me.
Roll a d20.
She's wicked pissa.
Yeah.
4.
What trait about this character that they despise do you genuinely appreciate?
She despises that she can't be as perfect in everything as math. And I think it's really great to watch her fail at things like tripping, going through a doorway. I think that's humanizing. She thinks it's demoralizing, but I think it's really cute.
Futziness humanizes. All right.
Phaedra, do you know Kelly?
I do. We had art class together, and I liked her. I enjoyed helping her with her project, but then something else caught my eye and I wandered off. But
roll me a d20.
I didn't mean to. 15.
What do you and Kelly have a mutual weird love of? Maybe something you talked about in art class.
Well, we both really liked the song Sweet Dreams Are Made of These last year. It was a really, really good song and played all the time. But yeah, so we kind of bonded over that.
Yeah. how did it become weird?
I guess maybe I was a little more into the new wave stuff than she was, and it just sort of, maybe I listened to it too many times and it became annoying.
Okay, interesting. Cliff,
Yes, sir.
do you know Kelly?
Only because Chance talks about her a lot. And it's just weird to hear like Chance like randomly excited about something. He's not really one of those dudes. He's just kind of happy all the time, pretty much, at least. And when he's, today, man, she like totally missed the second step on her way out of the band hall, and just like, it's weird, man. It's like watching her try and get used to a human body or something. So since I hadn't noticed it, but since he kind of turned me on to this, now I find myself like kind of watching her, to see what she's going to do next. And then I think her time among the human race is like still acclimating, because she showed up in this T-shirt by this band Joy Division, and I've heard about him, like that's like named after that roster of involuntary the pleasure girls that the Nazis used, and I thought, shit, this is going to be like a mega heavy band or something. And so I went out and I even flat out went to the back of Amoeba and ordered the EP, and dude, what the hell is this? I threw it in the ocean. So I don't know. Clearly, me and her do not have musical tastes in common, but there's more to life. That's cool.
So that's negative then.
I think you don't maybe know her that well. So you can roll a d20.
16.
Oh.
Piece of peach.
What terrible loss has Kelly suffered?
Any modicum of good taste in music.
Oh.
Just hopeless, dude. Seriously. There's no coming back from that. I put a big emphasis on music. The strange thing is, though, she plays music. I know she's in band because she's falling out of that hall all the time.
She probably has a tumor.
Oh no!
No, that's Phaedra. That's the forget-me-not tumor.
All right,
It's
just
water in this
to
town.
just to amend it, because I don't want to be mean to Phaedra, so I'm just going to say that we started, and my insecure, overblown self thought we were best friends by the end of 3rd grade. Summer came, beginning of 4th grade. She didn't know who I was, and I have always taken it way too seriously, way too.
Gotcha.
So, although she may be witness relocation and may have a memory problem, I don't know, but again.
All right. So that brings us to Cliff. Cliff, what is your last name?
It can't be Burton.
Doherty.
Oh, that's right.
Cliff Doherty is actually an amalgam of Clifford George and Michael Doherty, my two best running buddies up until about the 7th grade.
So Mr. Lyman gets to the end of the list. He gets to the kid whose last name begins with X. And he's like, Cliff. Oh, Cliff. Right. You're at the end of this list for some reason. Keep forgetting to rewrite the list alphabetically. CJ, do you know Cliff?
Yeah, I know Cliff. We play guitar together.
Yeah.
It's a primarily a good thing.
Roll me a d20.
5.
Why do you care about him more than he cares about you?
I'm lonely. I'm always working. So when somebody makes time to hang out with me when I'm actually available, it means a great deal to me. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that he thinks it's just hanging out in friendship, and he doesn't realize how much it means to me that somebody makes time to be with me on my schedule, because my schedule's messed up. And so I have taken, because his tastes go towards metal, and while I like metal, I've taken huge strides towards that becoming my favorite genre, including owns the record store, who gives me, who we trade for bootlegs of stuff now, and I do that just to impress Cliff, because he makes time for me, and nobody makes time for me. I'm always making time for other people.
It hella works too, man. You got the No Life Till Leather demo before anybody even knew what that was.
You're not kidding. Hit the lights. Sorry.
Kelly, do you know Cliff?
No, not really. No.
Are you aware of him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in homeroom together.
Yeah, that's true. D20.
5.
What strange record does Cliff hold in this town?
Longest number of days without sleeping. And people just know it, and he talks about it because
There's a time I went 13 days without sleep.
Yeah, and that's how I learned about X rumor happening here, and I'm gonna figure it out.
How many days is it? How many days did he go?
I want to say, gosh, part of me wants to pick a realistic answer because I don't know how long it takes for somebody to actually break down and go insane.
When in doubt, roll a d20.
D20?
Maybe D6.
I'm gonna go with.
I think 4 days
4.
you're looking at clinical issues.
Yeah, I just rolled a 4 on the D6. So.
All right. But that is something that has stuck with you.
Yes.
Chance, do you know Cliff?
Yeah, I see him. We both walk around at night a lot. We run into each other.
Yeah.
Out at the cove.
So it's a positive impression.
We say, hey, he tells me some crazy stuff, and I go, yeah, that's crazy. Like, he always thinks more is going on than is. And I just say, yeah, dude, yeah, I'm sure there is a bomb shelter under the quad at the high school where the seniors bring freshmen and beat them up. And yeah, sure. He's always on about something like that. So he's always entertaining.
D20.
16.
What would losing him mean to you?
He's like the only person our age that also gets away with not having a curfew. I would there's nobody out on a weeknight at 11 o'clock. The only people you're going to run into are me and him. And it's not like we hang a lot. He convinced me to get a bass guitar because he's got this super group idea. I ain't going to practice, so it can't be that hard.
Every bass player I've ever met.
Giving him Kill 'Em All. And I said, look, man, it's just anesthesia pulling teeth. Just learn to play this one track. And
yeah, I've seen that guy in Van Halen. He ain't working. He just points around a lot. Looks like he's doing it all one-handed. That's what I'm shooting for. But yeah, it's nice. It can get a little lonely and weird at night, so it's nice to have someone to run into. We never plan it, but we kind of don't have to.
What was it that the Smoot family once said about stuff after 7? I remember that crazy ass family that was out here for a while.
Oh, nothing good ever happens after 7.
That was
outside your home.
Outside your home.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Be home by 7 and you won't get in trouble. Yeah.
Phaedra.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Cliff?
I do. Not real well. I mean, I've sort of seen him around, but I've always thought he was kind of cute, and I like his style. He's seems to kind of pay attention to things, kind of like I try to do.
Roll me a d20.
Ooh. 11.
What lengths would you go to in order to defend this character?
So occasionally people right, so my family is, a little more on the well-to-do side, which is annoying as heck to me, but so they complain about, that guy over there with his sleeves ripped off his jeans jacket, and he's always just loitering in the corner and, probably up to no good and stuff. And I'll say, what's that got to do with anything, how somebody dresses? Look how I dress. You guys let me dress like, how I want. And it's okay. Like, it doesn't mean that he's a bad guy just because he's got different style, and you can't just assume stuff. I don't know.
All right.
What was the rest of that question?
What lengths would you go to defend him?
Defend him, yeah. Okay, so I just argue in his defense when they, get talking about how he's some hoodlum and needs to be watched over better.
So non-heated debate is the lengths that you go.
Yes, yes. I gently and calmly.
Non-heated, dispassionate debate.
I argue.
Logical and reasonable discourse. I would go so far as to have a stiff discussion about the subject.
Talk sternly.
If in fact said discussion did not actually exceed 3 or 4 sentences cumulatively. We appreciate
in the
it.
privacy of my home.
Yeah.
Before 7
Before
after
7.
7 p.m.
Right, because I got dumpsters to dive. And lobsters to save and eat.
When she first gave me the flyer for that, the mimeograph was crap, and I thought it said, shave the lobsters. I was like, what?
That must not have been one of the ones that I designed.
Kind of weird why promptly, that purple ink that you sniff. Yeah.
Rubs off on your fingers.
The Lumber Ghost Mysteries features Jason Adair as Chance, Mars Homeworld as Cliff, Mikey Mason as CJ, Mary Stack as Kelly, Kirsten Vaughn as Phaedra, and I am Jonah Knight. The Lumber Ghost Mysteries is based on the game Kids on Bikes. Kids on Bikes was written by Jonathan Gilmore and Doug Levandowski, co-published by Hunters Entertainment and Renegade Game Studios. Find out more about the game at renegadegamestudios.com. Original art for the Lumber Ghost Mysteries by Mikey Mason. Additional art used courtesy of Hunters Entertainment. Our theme song was written by Jonah Knight and Mars Homeworld. Additional music composed by Mars Homeworld. The Lumber Ghost Mysteries is produced by ActualStoryPodcasting.com. Find out more about this show and others that we produce by visiting ActualStoryPodcasting.com.